Hello everybody, and Merry Christmas! In honor of it being Christmas, today I decided that I'm going to give my top 10 favorite Christmas movies of all time. Now before I get started, I just want to say that National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation will not be on this list. I'm sorry, I know that's going to disappoint a lot of people, because I know that a lot of people love that movie and it's probably at the top of their list. I've never been a real big fan of that movie. I've only seen it like a couple of times. I didn't really like it that much, so yeah, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is not going to be on this list. Also, Die Hard is not going to be on the list either. Not because I don't think it's a Christmas movie, but because I haven't seen Die Hard yet. That's definitely a movie that's on my list to watch at some point soon, but I haven't watched it yet, and I'm sure that when I do eventually watch it, it will definitely be on the list. But without further ado, let's get into my top 10 favorite Christmas movies of all time. Alright, so let's get started with the list with number 10, Fred Claus. This is such a fun movie that explores the idea of what if Santa Claus had a brother that hated him. It's a really hilarious movie. I love the moment where Fred gets the DJ to play a different, he gets annoyed with the DJ for playing Here Comes Santa Claus every single, over and over again, keeps playing the same song, so he changes the song and then gets all the elves to dance around, and that's such a hilarious scene. But it also is a heartwarming movie, too, of having, Fred and Santa reconcile their relationship of, Fred hating his brother for years because he got down his tree. And that moment where Fred opens up the present and it's the birdhouse that his brother destroyed many years ago. I watched this movie just last night for this ranking, and that part almost got me. Like, I was like, oh my, like, I started tearing up at that moment, because I was like, oh my god, it's the birdhouse, and there's just a few moments in this movie that are just really emotional, really heartwarming, and it's also, it has a good balance of, the hilarious moments and the emotional, heartwarming moments, so that's why it's one of my favorite Christmas movies and why it's at number 10. Then, at number 9, Jingle All The Way. This is another one of those just really hilarious movies that I have to watch every single Christmas. It's such a classic Christmas movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger trying to get a Turbo Man toy for his son, and all just the different ways he tries to get one and fails. It's just so hilarious, and it culminates with him becoming Turbo Man in the parade. I think that's just kind of the perfect final act for the movie, is having him become Turbo Man, because that's so hilarious. It seems to, it's a little bit weird to, it's like, why is the costume in the parade so complex, with actually having a jetpack that you can fly around, and actually having a boomerang that can and discs that can actually hurt people. It's it's just a really hilarious movie of a dad, Arnold Schwarzenegger, trying to get a toy for his son, and it's just all the different just hilarious ways that he tries to get one, and just it's such a great movie, and it's one of those movies where I really just have to watch it at some point during Christmas, during December, and yeah, it's amazing. Coming in 8th place is Daddy's Home 2. This is probably the most recent movie on this list. I think it's the only one that breaks the 2010s. I'm pretty sure everything else on the list is before 2010. It's such a great movie. I think it goes pretty well off of, I think it's better than the first Daddy's Home. I think it's just so hilarious having the idea of Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg's fathers coming for Christmas, and just the hilarious things that happen in that. with that whole premise is just so great. And you also have John Cena come. It's just such a hilarious movie that it's pretty much, it was just an instant classic, even though it only came out like 3 years ago. It's really just a hilarious family funny movie that is a good sequel to the first Daddy's Home, as well as a really amazing Christmas movie. Then, coming in seventh place is the Jim Carrey version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. This movie is so hilarious. It played a really big part in my childhood. I love Jim Carrey as the Grinch. I think that's really hilarious. I think it really does a good job at, taking the Grinch story and, making it feature-length film with Jim Carrey as the Grinch, and it's just really hilarious the way they do it. And I also like how it kind of gives more of a backstory to the Grinch. Like, it actually shows his backstory of how he became the Grinch. Him, he got made fun of at school for, being green and hairy, so he ran away, and he's been living in the mountain since he was a child. I think it was cool that they gave the Grinch a backstory, because you never really knew that before, so I think I like that they did that in this movie. And yeah, it's a really great Christmas movie. It's really hilarious, and it played a really big part in my childhood. Then, in sixth place is A Christmas Story. This movie is like 40 years old, and it's still a Christmas classic. It still holds up today. I think it at least used to play constantly on on repeat on some channel on Christmas Day. I don't know if it does that anymore. I haven't seen it do that, but it might on some channel. I don't know if it still does it or not, but I know that at least a few years ago, and when I was growing up, it would play on repeat on TV for the entire Christmas Day. And it is such a great movie, such a Christmas classic of Ralphie trying to get a BB gun for Christmas, and all of the different ways he tries to ensure that he will get one, and everybody tells him, "You're gonna shoot your eye out, you're gonna shoot your eye out, kid." And when he gets one, sure enough, he shoots his eye out. It's his glasses, but it is such a great movie, such a Christmas classic, and it's really, like I said, it still holds up 40 years later. It's amazing. Then at number 5, I'm going to cheat a little bit and say all of the Rankin Bass animated Christmas movies. I think that these are really good. I think, the main ones that I love are Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman, and The Year Without a Santa Claus. I think, those are the big ones. I think they have some others that aren't so good, and they have some sequels to some of these that I would not recommend watching ever, but, I mean, I probably shouldn't recommend watching these either, because they're not the greatest, but they're also classic Christmas movies that you kind of have to watch every year, and they definitely played a giant part in my childhood, and they're just, they're just Christmas movies that you kind of have to watch every single year. They're just a tradition, and that is why they come in at number 5. Then, at number 4 is The Santa Claus. And I'm actually going to cheat a little bit and tack on The Santa Claus 2 and 3 to this, even though I think The Santa Claus is the best one out of the 3. I still really love the other 2, even though they may not be the best films, but I just love them so much. It's really just nostalgia. It's kind of why, like I said, the Rankin Bass movies are so special to me. It's the nostalgia of them. It's kind of a weird premise of, somebody accidentally killing Santa Claus and then becoming Santa Claus. Not such a family-friendly concept, but I think the way they do it is really nice and heartwarming. Again, even though some of the concepts, like killing Santa Claus or taking away the father's custody of his kids. They're not, family friendly concepts necessarily, but I think these are just such good Christmas classics of I've been saying this a lot in this video, but these are just really fun movies. I think each one does a good job at exploring a different, like a new concept of the Santa Claus. Like the first one, it's the Santa Claus of, you kill Santa, you become Santa. And then the second one is, oh, Santa Claus needs to have a Mrs. Claus, and, you explore him trying to find his Mrs. Claus. Then the third one is, oh, if you don't want to be Santa Claus, you can escape, you do the escape clause and, not be Santa Claus. And Jack Frost tricks him into doing that and that whole thing. And also, the other thing in the third movie is you have the in-laws and his wife's pregnant, which is kind of a problem of why the third one isn't so good, as it has a lot of things going on in it. But I think that this trilogy is really good. It, again, like I've said, for many things on this list, it played a big part in my childhood, and that is why the Santa Claus trilogy comes in at number 4. Coming in at number 3 is Home Alone, and I'm going to cheat again and tack on Home Alone 2 with it as well. I'm not going to tack on any more Home Alone movies because they all suck. The first two are masterpieces. All of the others, complete garbage. Home Alone and Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, I think they do a really good job at, kind of setting up the premise in a way that seems realistic. It actually seems like, they put all the pieces together to where it's like, yeah, I could see how this could happen. Like, there's a bunch of people in the house, Kevin gets in trouble, he has to be upstairs, they're running late, it's all crazy, and then there's a kid that is annoying the bus driver, and he gets counted on when they're doing the head count, so they don't realize that Kevin isn't there, and I think it does a good job in making it seem like it's possible this could happen. Plus, in the second one, it's, Kevin does get to the airport, but he thinks that a different guy who's wearing the same coat as his father and has a similar haircut is his father. He thinks it's his father from the back, so he gets on the wrong plane, and that seems like it could happen too. So I think that while it does seem a little bit unrealistic that a mother would really forget her child at home, I think it does enough work to make it seem like it is possible that this could happen. And then, of course, the part everybody loves with these movies is just Kevin taking out the two burglars trying to steal stuff trying to rob his house, and just all of the different ways he tortures them. It's just such a good Christmas movie, and I cannot believe that it's 30 years old. Like, how? Then, at number 2, is The Polar Express. This movie, for any early 2000s kid, is just the Christmas movie. I think it's just so cool, so, magical, this train that is taking kids to the North Pole to see Santa Claus. I think that Tom Hanks does a really good job as the narrator, and he plays a few parts of this movie. He plays, the narrator, and he plays the conductor, and he plays the hobo on the top of the train. And it's just so great. Such a great Christmas movie. Again, a Christmas classic, like I've said multiple times. Again, played a ginormous part in my childhood. It's a Christmas movie that, pretty much everything on this list, I think you have to watch every single Christmas, every single December. Because It's just so magical, so just so amazing. And the animation style is that they use in this movie is just kind of really cool. Like, it seems like it would be off-putting, but it's actually like works really well. And uh yeah, it's just, like I said, it is an amazing movie. It's, for early 2000 kids, it's the Christmas movie, and that is why it comes in at number 2. But coming in at number 1 is the one and only Elf. If you remember back to my video where I said my favorite movie from each year I've been alive, you know that I love the movie Elf. You know, I said that that was my favorite movie from 2003, and it's just, it is such a hilarious movie. It's, like I said in that video, it is my family's movie. My family's favorite movie. We can quote pretty much the entire thing. I mean, I think I quote it basically on a daily basis. It's just such a hilarious, fun movie, exploring the concept of what if Santa Claus accidentally kidnapped infant from an orphanage, and then one of his elves took him in as his own, and he grew up as an elf, not realizing that he's not an elf, that he's a human, not realizing that, you know, he's taller than all the other elves, and then finding out that he is a human, and that going to New York to meet his real father, and all of the hilarious moments that come with that. And it's just, it's such a great movie, such a hilarious movie, and it's just another reason to love Jon Favreau. I mean, he gave us Iron Man, he gave us The Mandalorian, and he gave us Elf. Elf is truly the best and easily the funniest Christmas movie of all time, and that is why it comes in at number 1. Anyway, that is my top 10 favorite Christmas movies of all time. Please comment below your top 10 favorite movies of all time. It's probably going to be a lot different than mine. It'll probably have National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation on it. Sorry about that. It also might have Die Hard on it too. I'm sorry about that also. Anyway though, if you liked the video, please give it a like, consider subscribing, and check out some of my other videos. And with that said, that's a wrap.